presentation about ethics in video games. The global gaming market is bigger than it's ever been, with huge advancements in technology to give us more computing power in our gaming consoles, computers, and mobile devices. Developers have made huge strides in the implementation of virtual reality and fully realistic graphics that really immerse the player in a digital world. Companies like Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, Google, Nvidia, and more are constantly pushing the boundaries of their own technology. Nintendo making the first handheld console that can seamlessly connect to a TV just by placing it on a dock, Sony and Microsoft with their powerhouse ultra high definition consoles, and Google soon to release their console that uses what is called cloud gaming, where a game is rendered on a cloud server and the video is streamed back to the player in real time. This makes the price of the console drastically less expensive compared to the other consoles with similar performance, such as the PS4 and the Xbox One. And Nvidia finally implementing a technology called ray tracing in their graphics cards. This is a rendering technique for generating an image by tracing the path of light as pixels in an image plane and simulating the effects of its encounters with virtual objects. Look at the Star Wars demo of a real-time ray tracing demo in an Unreal game engine. Focus your attention on how the light reflects off the suits and other objects. And remember, all this is being rendered in real time as it would while playing the game.
What's the story with all the elevators lately? I heard Kylo Ren destroyed the one over in D sector.
If you ask me, who's ever in charge of this place should be transferred to Hoth. What? What?
You think she heard us?
Well, some pretty cool stuff there. The video game market is expected to be worth over $90 billion by 2020, from $78 billion in 2016. There are 2.5 billion video gamers worldwide, and Asia reached a revenue of $51.2 billion, making it one of the largest gaming markets in the world. However, due to the advancing technology, many ethical issues are brought to our attention due to this development of gaming. In this presentation, I'll be touching on 3 topics: how video games affect the brain in both child and adult, also what are some of the benefits that gaming has, and how other countries deal with controversial titles and games. Seems that there's not a day that goes by where some media outlet is putting video games to shame due to the violence and the effect it has on small children and how it increases violent tendencies and whatnot. However, with no real data to back it up, let's take a step back and view this from an objective standpoint on what real effects video games has on the brain itself. In 2016, scientists summarized results from over 116 scientific studies to determine how video games influence our brains and behaviors. A total of 22 of the reviewed studies explored the structural changes in the brain, and 100 studies analyzed changes in brain functionality. Evidence also demonstrates that playing video games increases the size and competence of parts of the brain responsible for visual-spatial skills. In long-term gamers, an individual who volunteered to follow a video game training plan, the right hippocampus was enlarged, the part of the brain associated mainly with memory, in particular long-term memory. Scientists at the University of California, San Francisco, clarify that this provides a measure of scientific support in the brain fitness area. Criticized for lacking evidence that brain training can stimulate meaningful and lasting changes. After 12 hours of training over the period of a month, study participants aged between 60 to 85 years improved performance on the game that surpassed that of individuals in their 20s playing the game for the first time. Moreover, 2 other significant cognitive areas were improved: working memory and sustained attention. These skills were maintained 6 months after the completion of their training. While these studies show that there are some positive effects that video games have on the brain, it doesn't mean everyone should go and dedicate hours of gaming every day. Binging is never a good thing, and gaming is no exception. In gaming addicts, there's a functional and structural altercations in their neural reward system, a group of structures associated with feeling pleasure, learning, and motivation. Exposing video game addicts to game-related cues that cause cravings and monitoring their brain responses highlighted these changes that are also seen in other addictive disorders. The World Health Organization in June 2018 declared gaming addiction as a mental health disorder. A study by the Minneapolis-based National Institution for Media and the Family suggests that video games can be addictive for kids, and that kids' addiction to video games increases their depression and anxiety levels. Addicted kids also exhibit social phobias. Not surprisingly, kids addicted to video games see their school performance suffer. MRI scans reveal that addictive video games can have a similar effect on kids' brains as drugs and alcohol. While gaming is making the news lately for the ways it may be bad for one's mental health, studies show that it may also be able to treat two of the most common mental health conditions in the world, anxiety and depression. A study done by East Carolina University suggests that playing 30 minutes of video games per day can treat anxiety and depression at a level that rivals prescription medication. Out of all the genres, puzzle games in particular have shown an ability to alleviate symptoms of anxiety and depression. A study conducted by psychologist Peter Gray showed that 50 hours of action video game play improved visual contrast sensitivity. And the same study, successful treatment of amblyopia, which is also known as lazy eye. Lee and colleagues performed experiments in which some adults with the disorder played action video games and used only the bad eye. Other adults with the disorder did other things with the good eye covered, such as knitting and watching television. The results was that those in the gaming condition showed great improvement, often to normal or near normal functioning, while those with the other condition did not. Many in the gaming condition developed 20/20 vision or better in their previously lazy eye, and visual attention and stereoscopic vision were restored to normal. There are many more positive effects of video games, such as problem solving and logic, hand-eye coordination, multitasking, quick thinking, accuracy, strategy, and many more. Check out this clip from cognitive researcher Daphne Bavalier's TED Talk on how video games can help us learn, focus, and fascinatingly multitask.
You're going to see yellow happy faces and a few sad blue faces. These are children in the schoolyard in Geneva during recess, during the winter. Most kids are happy, it's actually recess, but a few kids are sad and blue because they've forgotten their coat. Everybody begins to move around, and your task is to keep track of who had a coat at the beginning and who didn't. So I'm just going to show you an example where there is only one sad kid. It's easy because you can actually track it with your eyes. You can track, and then when it stops and there's a question mark and I ask you, did this kid had a coat or not? Was it yellow initially or blue? I hear a few yellow, good, so most of you have a brain. I'm now going to ask you to do the task, but now with a little more challenging task. There are going to be 3 of them that are blue. Don't move your eyes, please don't move your eyes. Keep your eyes fixated and expand, pull your attention. That's the only way you can actually do it. If you move your eyes, you're doomed. Yellow or blue? Good. So your typical normal young adult can have a span of about 3 or 4 objects of attention. That's what we just did. Your action video game player has a span of about 6 to 7 objects of attention, which is what is shown in this video here. That's for you guys, action video game player. They're more challenging, right? Yellow or blue?
In other countries, video games aren't accepted as openly as in the US. You can basically go to any GameStop and pick up any game you like, being of age obviously, but in other countries it isn't that simple. Back in 2010, Call of Duty Black Ops shattered the sales, with its game selling over $600 million in less than a week, completely destroying even the top Hollywood blockbuster films. The game takes place during the high tensions of the Cold War, and the game actually includes a mission to assassinate Cuban leader Fidel Castro. Cuban state-run media condemned the game completely. But Black Ops is hardly the first game to fall prey to political censor around the world. Global Post looks at other countries that have banned or criticized video games for reasons that go far beyond violence and extend to unflattering content and insults to the national sovereignty. Australian law prohibits the sale of video games that promote any illegal activity. Many games are banned for violent and sexual content, but the law creates some stranger rationales as well. For example, Mark Echo's Getting Up Contents Under Pressure, a game about graffiti tagging, is banned because graffiti is illegal in Australia. Thank you guys for watching my video, and I hope you have a great day.